Well, welcome back. As we continue exploring Oroco, a resource is a pure play and one of the largest multi-billion dollar copper assets in Mexico, fueling generations to come, trading on the TSX-V under OCO and on the OTC market under ORRCF. And joining to take us through what happened in the first half of the year into the latter half with all the recent news and much more in between. Obviously, we have the privilege of Ian Graham, the president, joining us. First and foremost, welcome, sir.
Thanks, Kyle. Good to be back.
It was a pleasure getting back on. So I firstly want to roll back. I mean, there's been a lot going on, whether it's been government involvement, the fixation on copper continuing to propel to those decade highs and is still holding strong here. Maybe give us some highlights and what stuck out to you just from an operational standpoint.
Certainly. Well, the macro environment, particularly the performance of copper, I think the settling down of post-election in Mexico, the US, Canada, all of that, I think, has set us up in the first half of this year for a more predictable outlook into the second half of the year. And of course, for us, specific to the project, our engagement with the Mexican government and the remarkable support and engagement we've seen from the state, federal, and even local level. It's always been good at the local level for us, but now having the exposure federally and the direct support and the process to add us to the registry of Plan Mexico and Plan Sinaloa supported projects, I think has been transformational for Oroco in my view. And so we're, I think, now poised to move into the second half of the year and plan for PFS from a very, very strong situation. So we're thrilled with that and beginning to very much focus on the go forward story.
Yeah, and before we talk too much about go forward pre-feasibility there, maybe let's look at what's going on right now with a lot of questions coming out of investors when it comes to cash, as you recently did announce that private placement up to 5 million units at 30 cents per unit. There's a warrant there as well, but maybe expand on kind of this runway, what this cash means for you guys, and just maybe alleviate some of the fears investors might have.
Certainly. It's a small financing. It helps us prepare for the financing that will take us into the next phase of studies and moving the project forward. More particularly, it's a single investor, a known quantity in mining investment, somebody we've wanted on the registry. And so it's a small investment to facilitate that. Our treasury is modest, but we're not at a significant burn. We haven't begun any of the large studies yet. Obviously, we've just announced Whittle, but they're going to help finance that by taking a part of their compensation in stock. And our treasury is buoyed up some by a royalty that we have, and that royalty income is presently coming into the treasury. So we're certainly in a solid situation for our current burn rate.
Yeah, and speaking to Whittle, I mean, this was another announcement that I think would be worth expanding on because they are kind of helping you move forward in a more financially meaningful way there to evaluate the innovative operating strategies and technologies that might help with the potential to enhance Santo Tomas. Maybe explain exactly what they're doing for you guys and what the value add is.
Certainly. So we've known the Whittle folk a long time. We've taken some of their course offerings to understand what it is they do. We're at the ideal time to engage with them now. They're particularly going to help us ensure that we don't miss any of the significant value additive options and opportunities that we could contemplate in the PFS. So they're basically doing a high level review. They'll drill down off our PEA data to help us scope a PFS that has all the high value trade-offs or other studies embedded either in the PFS or we get that work done now ahead of scoping the PFS. So I think it's a perfect time to ensure that we properly scope the PFS with the value of the project in mind, so that all the studies we do are those that leverage value of the Santo Tomas project. Clearly, nature's given us a remarkable deposit. It's exposed, it's at surface, strip ratios are low, low elevation, great access, close to infrastructure. But it's now incumbent on us to ensure that we select the right technologies, the right scales, the right timetables for the development of the project. And that is Whittle's bread and butter, and they're going to help us make sure we get that right. And it's always good to have, third-party validation of things that you're planning to do before you launch into a PFS or any other scope study. And so, we're thrilled to have their support and engage them in the project. It's certainly going to help us refocus as well on the technicals and on the project as we prepare to scope the PFS.
Yeah, and yeah, let's kind of talk on the PSF a little bit here and get an idea of moving forward, timelines, milestones. What do you think investors should be focusing on, and give us kind of a runway of what we expect in the next 36 months?
So the Whittle study should conclude in September, October this year, and we want to integrate that into the scope of the PFS. So we're looking to launch into the PFS planning to, know what it is we're going to do in that study in the course of 2025 and to queue us up, including in a financial manner, to start a PFS. So second half of this year, gear up for PFS, including some financing. 2026, focus on that pre-feasibility study, focus on, proselytizing the opportunities of the project to other developers and to make sure that there's a global awareness about the Santo Tomas project and what it offers. And hopefully that brings us into 2027 poised for something just very, very exciting. We're open to how that might be structured. We'll see what can be done. But the focus is to tee us up in 2025, deliver a lot, do a lot of work and get it right in 2026, and yeah, have a very exciting 27 after that.
Well, I definitely appreciate all the insight today as we always pass it off to the viewers. As news catalysts like this come down the wire, consider subscribing for future updates. But on that, as always, I appreciate Ian coming. And if you appreciate him as well, consider hitting that like. But we look forward to catching you in the next one.